This is Michael Popok, Legal AF, with a hot take that's going to update you on Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito and financial reporting required under new ethics laws since March. They're already late. They're already late in filing their disclosure forms listing all of their financial entanglements, any royalties, any reimbursements, any gifts. We know why Clarence Thomas is dragging his feet, because of the intense scrutiny that's on him right now. The screws being put to him right now by reporting of his close personal relationship, one that is supremely lucrative to Clarence Thomas. Looks like he's in the back pocket based on the financial data of one Harlan Crow, of Trammell Crow. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of gifts, tuition for members of his family, Harlan Crow buying 3 kind of worthless pieces of property from Clarence Thomas worth, again, millions of dollars. Harlan Crow donating $500,000 to Ginny Thomas's, at the time, Tea Party movement foundation and all of that. Now, he's required since March to file his disclosure form. We have 9 Supreme Court justices. Every one of them has now filed theirs. I'll talk about some of the interesting tidbits in some amendments to the financial statements of individual members of the Supreme Court. But 2 are missing. The 2 architects of the Dobbs decision, the two votes instrumental in ripping away a woman's right to choose, can't find the time to make on deadline their financial disclosures. We know where Sam Alito was and what he'll have to disclose, because right after the Dobbs decision, ripping away for the first time in the history of America a constitutional right that had been given and taking it away from women, in this case, and their right to choose, he went to Rome on the dime of the University of Notre Dame, and at a black tie affair, started joking and mocking foreign leaders to support his decision in the Dobbs decision, taking away a woman's right to choose. I guess it was really funny over there. You had to be there, I guess. Really funny in the room as Notre Dame is paying the freight, and he thought the prying eyes of the media from the United States wasn't there. He could crack a few jokes and crack wise about what he had accomplished. Yet he hasn't gotten around to disclosing that or how many other trips or entanglements with the Federalist Society or other right-wing MAGA donors he may have, including a number that he's been accused of, like going to dinner with the Christian right and leaking information about impending decisions. That's Sam Alito. He gets a 90-day extension. It's his 4th time in 4 years he's gotten a 90-day extension. And now Clarence Thomas, who I'm sure is quaking in whatever boots he wears about also making this disclosure, this new disclosure, because that one's going to go on for pages. Because we now know from ProPublica that he's taken hundreds of thousands up to millions of dollars from Harlan Crow, none of which has ever been disclosed in prior filings. He can't wiggle his way out of it now. He is required, chapter and verse, to disclose all of the money that he has obtained, or benefits that he's obtained from Harlan Crow and others. And Ginny Thomas by extension. If that money ended up in Clarence Thomas's purse, then it would have to be disclosed. So with the searing pressure on the Supreme Court justices, 7 took it seriously, and 2 are looking for the exit on how to get out from under this. I assume they've hired lawyers who are experts in financial disclosure as it relates to the ethics of judges, and they're getting guidance about how best to, let's just call it, wordsmith the language of their disclosures. The other 7 was, some interesting things that got picked up. You found out that a number of them have book deals and royalties that get paid to them. Justice Kagan is so ethical that she felt it necessary to amend her disclosures to reveal the small piece of real estate that she owns and earns some money from. It is a parking space that she values at $15,000 to $50,000, somewhere between there, and that she gets about $2,000 a year in rental. But she listed it. You listening to this, Clarence Thomas? She listed a parking space that she owns and amended her pleading, amended her financial disclosure. The most heartwarming disclosures was Ketanji Brown Jackson. She got a $1,200 floral bouquet, floral arrangement from Oprah, and she listed it as Oprah floral arrangement, $1,200. And when she was on the cover or in the inside of Vogue magazine, she wore a dress and a pair of shoes. They let her keep it, and she listed that. That's about it for Ketanji Brown Jackson. The rest of them just disclosed, like Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, that, when they're not toiling away as Supreme Court justices, they're lining their pockets with money that's provided to them by super right-wing, ultra-conservative law schools like George Mason University and the Antonin Scalia School. And they take, trips throughout Italy, allegedly on a teaching junket, and get reimbursed that way. And that's all listed. John Roberts, the chief judge, who's constantly refusing to have any kind of ethics laws or code of conduct applied to the Supreme Court, usually with some version of the refrain, we don't need a code of ethics, we're the Supreme Court. Sort of begs the question, but we'll leave it at that. He amended his financial disclosure statements to finally disclose more fully how much money his wife gets from her recruiting firm, headhunting firm that puts lawyers at major law firms, many of them that end up in front of the Supreme Court. Hear that, Clarence Thomas? He listed his wife's sources of income. Are you going to do that for Ginny Thomas? Are you going to list all the crackpot foundations and political action committees and other centers, legal centers that she's a part of, that she founded, and she gets money from, that have business before the court that you sit on? Are we going to see that in your new disclosure? Are you going to finally come clean, I guess is the question? Or are you going to still try to get away with figuring out how little you can provide in terms of transparency and get away with it? I mean, that's been how you got on the court. So it wouldn't shock me now, 30, 35 years later, if that's your approach to your financial disclosure. Same with Sam Alito. You talk tough. You're a big talker, Justice Alito, when you're abroad and in the company of like-minded people, or so you think, until that speech leaks out. Let's see what you list and where your financial entanglements lie. But we'll have to wait longer, another 90 days, because those two got extensions while the other 7 figured out a way to properly disclose their finances. Here's another tip. Try not to have shady entanglements or ones that give you the appearance of impropriety, and you won't have a problem filling out your form. Try that next time. It's that kind of common sense analysis and approach that I try to bring to every hot take only on the MeidasTouch network. I do them about every day. I'm a practicing attorney, 32 years, trial lawyer. I sit at the intersection of law and politics and comment on it, explain it to you in a way that I think you can gain some meaning from it. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up on this particular video, this hot take. It helps with the content and the quality and the quantity of what I bring. And we curate the best of these stories on Wednesdays and Saturdays on a podcast on the MeidasTouch network, also called Legal AF. And you can follow me, Michael Popok, on all things social media at MS Popok. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.